In this lesson we're going to build a rocket stove. It's designed to be a standalone lesson, and also it's a component of our high school Green Transportation Certificate in Module 2, the module on fuels. So today we're going to use a very small amount of fuel to build a very efficient stove. So this lesson is about fuel efficiency and also understanding how any unit of fuel can be used to produce work, and that our units of fuels can be converted into different forms to work with the technology we have, or our technology can be adapted to work with the fuels that we have. So when constructing your rocket stove, these are the materials that you're going to need. You'll start out with 4 regular sized soup cans, and when looking for soup cans we actually had to go to the vegetable aisle in order to find a can that was easy to open on the top and easy to open on the bottom. Oftentimes in the soup department you'll find a can that's easily stackable, but not that easy to open on the bottom. So make sure to look for one that looks the same on the bottom as it looks on the top. You'll also need a number 10 soup can, which actually I could only find diced tomatoes. You may be in the same position. So a number 10 can is 102 ounces. In order to open those cans, you'll need a can opener. And then in order to cut shapes in the side of those cans, you'll need some kind of metal cutter or tin snips. In order to draw circles on the sides of the cans, you'll need a permanent marker. And once you've cut open the cans, it's really important to wear gloves whenever you're handling the cut edges of a can. It's really easy to cut yourself, so this is very important for safety. In order to start our holes in the side of the cans, we're going to use a flat edge screwdriver and a hammer. And you'll see us do this, so these are important things to add to your supply list. Once you've opened up your cans, you're going to want a place to store your food and hopefully enjoy it later. So make sure to bring a pot with you or some large bowls to store it with. Once we've assembled our rocket stove, we're going to pack insulation in between the layers of the stove. And for that we've used vermiculite, which is a gardening tool, so you'll find it in a nursery or a gardening supply store, but it is a non-renewable resource. You can also use sand, which is abundant and renewable. So once you're ready to light your stove, you're going to need paper and some kind of flammable material, preferably wood chips, and something to light it with. So ideally you'll have a lighter like this with a long stem or matches with a long stick. And those are all the supplies that you need in order to make your rocket stove.
So the first thing you're going to do is take the lid off of each of the cans using the can opener and empty the contents of the can into your pot or other storage unit. Now you don't need to save the lids of any of the small cans, but you do need to save the lid of the big can. That's going to play an important role later.
So the next step is to just give a little rinse to your cans. So after you rinse your cans, take off the labels. So step number 4 is to take the bottoms off of 3 of the small cans.
So next you're going to take one of the regular cans of soup and line it up with the bottom of the bottom groove of the large soup can. And then you're going to take the permanent marker and trace that circle.
Alright, so this is one of the most challenging steps. First we need to get a hole started in order to cut a hole along this trace line. So we're going to start our hole with a flathead screwdriver and a hammer, and then use our tin snips to cut a hole by spiraling out from that center hole.
Okay, so now I'm going to take the tin snips and I'm going to insert them in the hole that we just made and cut along this trace line by spiraling outward from the center.
So your next step is to draw a circle on the top of your large can, the top that you've removed. So use a small can to trace a circle in the middle of the top of the big can.
Yeah.
So just like with the side of our large can, we're going to cut a circle in the top of the lid, spiraling outward from the small opening that we create using a flathead screwdriver and a hammer. So I'm going to start out by making the opening. And then using the tin snips, I'm going to start from the center, spiral out, and create a circle along the line that I've traced.
Okay. So you want to make sure the small cans fit into this hole you just made. So this one's not quite there yet, so I'm just going to make some adjustments to the hole.
Okay, so next I'm going to trace a circle on the side of the small can that still has its bottom, using another small can and lining it up with the small groove at the bottom, just like we lined up with the large can. So again, I'm going to use the flathead screwdriver and the hammer to create a small hole in the center of the circle that I've traced. Now I've cut a hole in the side of my small can that still has its bottom, and I've checked to see that another small can will fit inside of that hole.
So next you're going to cut in a straight line from top to bottom of 2 of the bottomless small cans. So there's one. After you've cut the can, you'll need to flatten it to make sure it's all the way flat. So then what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that this can fits in here, like this. So we use the permanent marker again. Draw some lines. Okay. And so you're going to cut where you drew these lines, but only up to the top groove. I'm going to leave 2 things on the end like that.
Here's the remainder of our 5 cans. Our large number 10 can has no top, and it has a hole in the side that's the same width as a small can. We have 1 can with the top and bottom removed and sliced all the way down the center, a small can with its bottom and a hole cut in the side of it that's the same width as a small can, and 1 can that simply has its bottom and its top removed. And then with the 4th can, we've used it to create a rest that'll go inside of this can. So it's the same width as the inside of a can and has 2 lips on the side to make it easy to remove. And finally we have the top of the large can, which has been removed from the large can but has a hole in it that's the same width as one of the small cans. So to assemble your rocket stove, begin by putting the small can with the bottom still on it and the hole in the side into the large can, and use the small can with the top and the bottom removed. Stick it into the large can, and then also a little ways into the small can.
I already did that! Oh!
The next step in building your chimney is to take the can where you've sliced it down the center and remove the top and bottom, and fit it inside of the small can that's already in there. Alright. The last step is to stick the rest into the side of the can, and we'll use this to light the stove. Alright, so the next step is to fill the surrounding area inside your big can but outside of your small cans with an insulating material like vermiculite or sand. Next step is to add your lid. Okay, and then I'm going to cut slits in order to create airflow. So cut your slits about 2 inches apart and about a ½ an inch deep, and then fold the flap down like this. And you're going to create 4 of these flaps at each of the 4 corners of your can.
Okay, so you're going to take some newspaper or some other kind of paper and put it inside this center can right here to serve as kindling. You want a little bit to go in there, and then you want a little bit more also to go in right here on this rest that we made. And then you're going to take some wood chips or kindling and put them right in on top of the newspaper you just put in there.
So when you light your stove, make sure to use good fire safety and make sure that you're in a location that is not flammable. So we're going to move over to this well-watered grass. Alright, so now we're lighting our fire.
Be over 10 here.
What are we staying here until?
Now we've got our pot of soup and we just put it right here on top. Okay, so after about 20 minutes, it's looking pretty warm, like it's almost boiling. Yep, very warm.